Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are coming from, and welcome to Everything Homeschooling, Unschooling, Self-Education, Self-Directed Education. Let's talk about learning and how we do this. So, I am going to put on our intro and make sure everything technically is working, and we're going to have a really exciting discussion today. Please feel free to click on that link in the description of the video so that you can join in the conversation. I would love to have people's points of view across the board. Whatever you think, we want to hear it. So, welcome again to Everything Home Education, and look forward to delving into this topic about learning styles. Looks like we're having a little bit of a technical issue. You know what? I'm just gonna skip the intro and take it from here. So I apologize for the technical issues. And let's go. All right. So let's just start. I'm happy to have everybody here, and I have been doing a lot of work recently and over the last 30 years on challenging assumptions in education. And part of the reason for that was the very first person that I met many years ago, almost 30 years ago, and I'm going to switch my screen's right, Challenging Assumptions in Education by Wendy Presnets, the wonderful publisher and editor of Natural Life magazine, who was here in Ontario for a long time and was a fantastic person to meet when I first started finding out about home and alternative education. So I have lived that every day of my life since then, challenging assumptions. But you know what the problem is? When you assume something and you don't even realize that it's an assumption because it fits so well with what you believe and what you're. Oops, I seem to be having a little issue with streaming on one place, and I don't want to leave those people out in the wilderness. So we will go here and go live there. Hopefully this will work. Okay. I should see a 3, 2, 1. Because we were leaving some people behind who were waiting on us. All right. Come on. 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to do my quick intro again. Thank you so much for being with me here today. We are doing an exciting conversation that is in the realm of challenging assumptions of education. For those of you who just got that recap. So part of the assumptions that we have is, or part of the problem that we have, is recognizing that what we believe are actually assumptions. We believe them. We think that there's evidence or supporting information because they're logical, it feels right, it sounds right. We believe the person who told us or the place that we saw it. And so it's really hard. You have to take an on purpose attitude. This is what I believe. Why do I believe it? So today we are looking at something that I automatically believed when I heard it, and it was one of my assumptions about learning styles. So when we search things for things like, if you put in learning styles, you're going to get a bunch of results that say, here's a quiz, a free quiz to see what your learning style is. And generally, is there anybody in the world out there who has not kind of believed in learning styles? I'd love to have a situation where we had it like, put your hand up if everybody believes in learning styles, but we can't. So put it in the comments if you believe that learning styles are a thing and you're not afraid to explore that. Let's do that. So, of course, if you're homeschooling already, you will be familiar with learning styles that we are talked about, we are shown and are in all the media. I did a show last year about learning styles where we looked at all the different learning styles and how we could help our children within those learning styles. And I was not entirely completely informed, I am sad to say, but I am happy to say now that I have more information, and it's going to blow your mind or not. All right. So, learning styles we understand to be, visual, kinesthetic, auditory. I can pull up a list, but if you have any, what learning style are you? Please type that into the comments, whether you're on the replay or live. So I believe that I am an auditory learner because I love listening to books on tape, and I can go back and listen to them again. But if I'm in a classroom and I'm listening, like as I was as a youngster, and I'm listening to somebody tell me something, couldn't get it for the world. I would have to either see a diagram or a picture, and so that kind of confused me, but I never questioned it. So let's see if we've got some answers here. What learning style are you? What learning style do your children have? Most home educators will, and regular educators in the system, teachers have done a lot of training about learning styles. So let's list them off here, and I'm going to choose to do that this way. All right, so now there's one group of people that believe in 4 learning styles, and they're called VARC, visual, auditory, and the website is actually VARC learning styles. So it's or modalities. VARC stands for visual, oral, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. The 7 that we usually see, I see most, I would say, are, let's get back over here. Visual, so spatial, oral, auditory learners, verbal or linguistic learners, physical, kinesthetic learners, logical, mathematical learners, social, interpersonal learners, and solitary, intrapersonal learners. So, and you can, if you look up learning styles, you're going to find everything that you could possibly imagine on learning styles. But If you look up learning styles debunked, or learning styles origin, or learning styles accuracy, or anything that would question the learning style on the theory of learning styles, we'll give you some more information that you probably are going to be mind blown about. So the information comes to us that learning styles were already being recognized by Aristotle way back. But they didn't really come into our area, a sphere of regular everyday language or everyday consciousness about using learning styles and being aware of learning styles until a professor, Neil Fleming in New Zealand, started to notice and wrote about it and expanded on and created VARK. He noticed these preferred modes of learning. And the shocking part of this is that there were no studies, there was no scientific evidence to prove these. So, do they really exist? Are they valid? Does it matter? And what if we've been kind of just assuming this? What if we're missing something? What if we've spent a whole lot of time focusing on one learning style for our child or children, and we've missed ways that we could have helped them more if we had had an expanded viewpoint and known about learning styles from the get-go. So here we have, and I'm going to copy a bring up a couple of websites that I just did a little bit of research on. So I'm going to bring this in and see if oh my gosh, I've got so much stuff here. Let's go here. And the biggest myth in education. This is a video that I found that basically led me into this rabbit hole. And boy, was it ever a rabbit hole. Now, I have no idea why my screen is doing that. That's very interesting. All right, so I'm going to rewind this so you can see what it looks like from the beginning.
This video is about learning styles.
Okay, so I'm going to put the link into the chat, the comments. Let me go over here. Whoops, it's gone now, but I'll bring it right back. I just had to do that while I was putting the link into the comments. Tell me if you can see that, because my my screen is not. Let's see. Tell me if you can see that, because screen is not. Okay. Stop. Tell me if you can. Nope, we're gonna put that away. Put that away. Technology, don't you love it? All right. So this is the video that really began my mind-blown idea. And if you watch this 14-minute video, you will be blown away as well. And looking up some of the places that he suggests is, here's Scientific American. Behavior and Society, the Problem with Learning Styles. There is little support for this fashionable idea and stronger evidence for other learning strategies. So here we have a very reliable, I would say, source. And this was from May 2018. I had not heard about it. And here, American Psychological Association, learning styles myth may be detrimental. So that's another, I'll put all these links into, and that's pretty much what I looked up: learning styles, evidence, origins, and even the wiki about learning styles requires updating. And here, the ethnocentric origins of the learning style idea. So let's get this straight. We have no evidence of, no scientific studies that prove learning styles help. And they've done this with groups of kids learning, and they put like, okay, if you think you're an auditory learner, or if you've done a little test that says you're an auditory learner, then you can go into this classroom or this area. And if you're a visual learner, go into this class or whatever. And then they specifically tailor that instruction in that modality. You would think that they'd all do really great. Not the case. And when you shift half the group into the other one, you would think that the ones that are the opposite learning style wouldn't do as well. Not scientifically proven. Didn't happen. So what does that mean for us and our kids and all the work we've put into learning styles and trying to help our kids with the style that might be best for them? Never fear. Everything that you've done has been, if your heart is in there and you're doing the best you can, you are wonderful. And your kids are going to be great. There is not going to be a problem. But doesn't mean we can't be better, right? So let's say your kid's a kinesthetic learner, hands-on, and loves doing things by seeing it and practicing it, and very technical, and a Lego crazy person would be like this, and very creative. What can we do that would enhance that? Because we're not saying that the people aren't generally preferred. Like, they are preferred methods of learning, right? So I prefer to listen to audiobooks, but I can't listen to somebody. I can, but it's very difficult for me to listen to somebody in a room. My preferred method of learning how to cook is seeing it in pictures. So if you believe your preferred method is kinesthetic, then that may be a good way for you to learn, but it's not the best way. And it's not specifically because that's the type of learner you are. Because what the studies actually show is that when you combine visual, auditory, manual dexterity together, that's when, and I love the word grok. It came from a novel. If you know the novel, please let me know. But when you grok something, it means you truly grasp it. You truly understand it. And it's not just a, idea in the air and something you've read that you're going to lose. It's not the gorge and regurgitate kind of thing. To grok something means that you really, really are, it's in you. You understand it all the way around, and it's going to stay with you. So to heighten the acquisition of things, you will see kids humming to themselves, maybe something that they've made up about animals or whatever, and it's something that they do over and over again. So repetition, auditory, and you'll see kids draw the same pictures over and over again. If they draw a picture of something and then create it in Lego and then write down in a diary or take pictures of it and put it in a blog, all those things mixed together are much more effective than sticking to the theoretical concept of a learning style in specific. Don't take my word for it. Please go and research it yourself. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I was mind blown when I discovered that I had not challenged this assumption that I had held for quite a few years, that there is no credible evidence that learning styles exist. Now, I have to say, when I had my home daycare, I had 3 little guys. Well, 1 little girl and 2 little guys. And they wanted to know when we were going to go swimming. So I said, we're going to go on Wednesday, next week. And they said, how long is that? And I said, well, how many days are there in a week? And they each, the 3 of them, I believe they were 2-3 years old. And each one of them figured it out a different way. Now, because of the way I did things, they knew that, like, we sang the days of the week, but we never counted them, right? So we never put the singing of it and the counting together. So one of them took his fingers and he went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and did it that way. Another little person said in his head, without counting fingers, Monday, 1, Tuesday, 2. I would get lost. I couldn't do that. But he did. And he got the right answer. And then the third little person went up to the calendar and counted the squares. Now, each one of them got the right answer, but in a different way. Did that have to do with learning styles? Or did that have to do with our natural, innate differences in the way we think? Some kids are naturally more creative and artistic. Some kids are more academic and love reading. They'd stick their head in a book for hours, like my oldest daughter. Though it's important that we continue to see how our kids are naturally love learning, what their innate genius is, because that's how we help them. But then too, watch that video and recognize that there are a lot of other ways that we can bring more things together for them, help them see alternative ways of doing things. And when my kids were learning to write, because I would sit down and I would start doing calligraphy, and they would want to start doing it too. So I got them all fountain pens, and we got our inks, and we got our sheets, and it was like art. They wanted to do it. So when they were doing it, I would say what I was writing. And they'd ask me, why are you doing it? You already know how to write. And you already know what the letters are. I said, yes, but I can always improve. So I did A, B, and did that, and I said it. So I'm saying it, I'm hearing myself say it, and I'm manually writing it. Do you think those kids did really well with their writing? They did, because they combined the different skills that made the brain connect more intricately with the concepts that they were thinking about. And my oldest daughter, she refused to take her stuffed animals to bed at night. She wanted her flashcards, her alphabet flashcards. So by the time she was 2, she knew the alphabet letters. And by the time she was 3, in the year between 2 and 3 years old, she had decided that no longer did she want the stories and the music that I put on in a tape cassette for her to go to sleep with. She wanted the cassette from the Hooked on Phonics, popped it in the tape player when she was going to bed, and apple, B, ball. And she had her flashcards in bed with her. So she's listening to it, she's manipulating it, and she's seeing it, all the different methods and modalities engaging here. I mean, she's not tasting them and she's not sniffing them, but, the more you can do, the better. So yes, making gingerbread alphabet letters is fine. That might even work better. So by the time she was 3, she knew the sounds of the letters. But not because I was making her do it, but because it was something she loved. Always keep that in mind. Keep it to voluntary instead of compulsion. Because once you put compulsion in, the love of learning becomes lower. So do some research on learning styles. Let me know in the comments what your learning styles are, what you found, because I'd love to find out more, and challenge everybody to challenge your assumptions in education. Take care, everybody. Have a great day, evening, morning. And hopefully we'll see you back again next week.